You're lying in bed. The room is quiet, too quiet. The clock on your nightstand blinks 2:47 a.m., but it feels like time isn't moving. The air is heavy. You feel it. That strange moment between wakefulness and sleep, when your body begins to dissolve into stillness, but your mind stays awake. And right there, between one breath and the next, something happens. You start to feel like you're falling, but not down. You're falling inward. Your heartbeat slows. Your hands are no longer yours. The ceiling above you stretches away into something vast, something you can't quite name. And before you know it, you're gone. Not dead, not dreaming, just gone. Every night you disappear from your body. And the question is, where do you go? Because here's the unsettling truth. Each night, your consciousness slips away. Not just into sleep, but into another world. Place where time bends, where memories merge, where you no longer means what you think it does. But if your consciousness truly leaves your body, who or what returns every morning? Think about the last time you closed your eyes. You probably don't remember falling asleep because no one ever does. One moment you're there, present, aware, heavy with thoughts, and then nothing. It's as if someone quietly turned off your awareness, like a light switch, without asking your permission. But here's the strange part. While your conscious mind sleeps, the rest of you keeps going. Your body breathes, your heart pumps, your brain still works, and deep inside, something is still watching. Scientists call this the sleep-wake boundary. But spiritually, philosophically, it's far more mysterious. Because during those few seconds when your body gives in to rest, your awareness doesn't just stop. It detaches. It steps outside the system like a passenger leaving the train for a while. In ancient traditions, they called it astral projection. In neuroscience, it's called REM dissociation. But maybe it's just consciousness remembering what it is, something far larger than flesh and neurons. You see, sleep isn't just rest. It's a rehearsal for death and rebirth. Every night, your body shuts down the same way it would when you die. The muscles relax, senses fade, and the brain slowly releases you from the illusion of control. But your mind, that quiet observer inside, doesn't die. It moves, and maybe it remembers where it came from. Have you ever noticed what happens just before you dream? You're not fully asleep, but not awake either. Images flicker. A sound, a face, a light, a place you've never been but somehow know. That's not imagination. That's your consciousness unfolding. It's as if your mind begins to let go of physical coordinates, the gravity of your bed, the weight of your name, and slips into a deeper current of existence. In that moment, you're not a body on a mattress. Your awareness floating, forming, shifting. It's the same reason dreams feel real while you're in them. Because to your consciousness, they are real. Your brain may be offline, your muscles paralyzed, but the you that experiences keeps going. Now imagine this. You are in a dream, standing in a place that feels like home, but you can't quite name it. You touch the walls and they breathe. You speak and the air answers back. That is the world of the subconscious, the other half of you that wakes when your body sleeps. And it's been waiting all day for you to return. Some scientists suggest dreams are simply your brain sorting memories. But others, like Dr. Alan Hobson, propose something far more intimate. That consciousness itself doesn't sleep. That every night you temporarily exit physical awareness to explore something beyond biology. A place where the boundaries between you and the world vanish. And maybe that's why you sometimes wake up with answers you never consciously found. Ideas that seem to appear from nowhere. Dreams that feel like memories from another life. What if your dreams aren't random? What if they're glimpses into the part of you that never sleeps and never dies? There's a pattern in nature, a rhythm of letting go and returning. The sun sets, it rises, the tide pulls away, comes back, the breath leaves you, and returns again. Sleep follows the same cycle. You leave your body every night, traveling through layers of consciousness, then return, reassembled, refreshed, reborn. But here's what's fascinating. During deep sleep, parts of your brain responsible for self, your name, your identity, your sense of time, shut off completely. Yet, when you wake, you pick them up again, like clothes waiting by the bed. It's as if the you who wakes up in the morning is not quite the same one who went to sleep. And maybe that's the point, because while you sleep, your consciousness isn't idle. It's cleaning, healing, rebalancing. You can think of it as your mind reconnecting to the main network, where it syncs, updates, and remembers who it really is. Scientists now know that during deep sleep, your brain literally washes itself. A process called glymphatic clearance, where cerebrospinal fluid removes waste and resets neural activity. But what if consciousness does the same thing? What if your awareness travels out beyond thought, beyond space, to reconnect with something greater? That could explain why we often wake from dreams feeling changed, emotional, or strangely enlightened. Maybe sleep isn't just for the brain. Maybe it's where the soul stretches, remembers itself, and then returns to play the human game again. Have you ever woken up from a dream that felt more real than life itself? Colors sharper, emotions deeper. You remember every detail, until minutes later, it fades, like mist in the morning light. But in those seconds, you knew. You were somewhere. You were someone. And maybe that somewhere isn't imaginary at all. Maybe it's the space your consciousness travels to every night, when your body finally lets go. You open your eyes, not in the physical sense, but inside a dream. You're somewhere between reality and imagination. A hallway made of memory. The walls breathe in rhythm with your thoughts. Every sound echoes back as emotion. You realize you're watching yourself sleep. It's strange, almost terrifying, but not because it feels unreal. It's terrifying because it feels too real. And somewhere deep inside, you understand, this is what happens every night. Not metaphorically, literally. You, the conscious observer, drift outside your physical awareness. Not floating above your bed in ghostly form, but existing in a layer of reality your brain was never meant to capture. Because here's the truth. Your brain doesn't create consciousness. It hosts it. Like a radio tuned to invisible frequencies, your neurons are the antenna, but not the music. And when you sleep, that signal changes. It expands. You step out of your channel and into the static of infinity. Scientists have long known that during sleep, parts of the brain simply shut down. Your prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thinking, goes quiet. Your default mode network, responsible for your inner monologue and sense of I, slows almost to silence. And yet, you still exist. Some part of you remains drifting, feeling, remembering. Neuroscientist Giulio Tononi once described this as the flickering of the conscious light. Consciousness doesn't vanish, it just detaches from the physical narrative. Imagine your mind as a city. When you're awake, the streets are crowded, lights are on, noise everywhere. When you sleep, the city goes dark. But somewhere, a few windows stay lit. That's the observer, you, the awareness that never truly shuts off. This small flame of awareness has puzzled scientists for decades, because it shouldn't exist. Your sensory input is gone. Your reasoning circuits are off. So, who's left watching? That's the first clue. There's a stage of sleep called REM, or rapid eye movement. It's when most dreams occur, and when your brain's electrical patterns look almost identical to when you're awake. Except for one strange thing, your body is paralyzed. Completely. Your muscles stop responding. Your body locks itself in place so you don't act out your dreams. But your consciousness, that internal theater, is fully alive. You see, feel, move, love, fight, run, but only inside. It's as if nature designed a nightly simulation, where you live 1,000 lives in safety while your physical self rests. And sometimes that line blurs. You wake up before the paralysis wears off. You can't move, but you can see. You feel a presence in the room, a shadow watching you. That's called sleep paralysis, but to ancient cultures, it was a glimpse beyond the veil. In those frozen moments, your consciousness hovers between two worlds, the physical and the unseen. And for a few heartbeats, you're aware of both. The Tibetans called it the bardo, the space between lives, a place where the soul pauses, half dreaming, half remembering. What if every night we visit that same place and simply call it sleep? In 1953, a young researcher named Eugene Aserinsky discovered REM sleep by accident. He noticed that even when people looked completely unconscious, their eyes were moving, darting beneath their eyelids as if watching something only they could see. He realized the mind never truly rests. Later, brain scans confirmed this. During dreams, emotional centers like the amygdala and hippocampus are blazing with activity, but logic centers are quiet. That's why dreams feel real, even when they're impossible. Because emotion, not reason, is in control. It's also why dream memories fade so quickly. The rational brain isn't recording them. But here's where it gets strange. When subjects enter lucid dreams, moments when they realize they're dreaming, their prefrontal cortex wakes up again. They become self-aware inside the dream, and they can move, think, decide, create, all while asleep. So, where exactly are they? If your mind can wake up inside a dream, does that mean consciousness exists outside the physical body, somewhere that isn't bound by biology? Even more shocking, studies using EEG have shown that during deep meditation, monks can intentionally enter these lucid-like brain states without sleeping. Their brain waves shift from wakefulness into dreamlike rhythms, while fully awake, and they describe something profound, the sensation of leaving the body, not floating above it but expanding beyond it, as if their awareness is no longer inside the skull, but spread across everything. Let's shift gears. What if consciousness isn't inside your head at all? What if, instead, your brain is a receiver tuning into a universal field of awareness? It sounds mystical, but it's not as far from science as you think. Quantum physicists like Max Planck once said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. Matter is derived from consciousness." That means the universe doesn't produce awareness. Awareness produces the universe. In quantum theory, particles don't exist in fixed states until observed. They remain waves, possibilities, until measured. In other words, things exist because you're aware of them. And during sleep, when your brain stops observing, what happens to your reality? Does your personal universe collapse and another one open? Maybe that's why dreams feel so real, because they are real within their own frequency of consciousness. Just as light changes form when seen through glass, your mind shifts form when seen through sleep. You don't go anywhere. You simply retune. And that means your consciousness may not be leaving your body. It may just be remembering that it was never trapped there to begin with. Here's something to think about. When you dream, you don't question who you are. You might be someone else in another time, another body, but you accept it completely. And when you wake, that version of you vanishes, as if it never existed. But did it? Neurologists have found that during dreams, your brain activates almost the same memory regions it uses when awake. So, in a sense, your dream self is built from real fragments, experiences, faces, voices, recombined into a temporary identity. That means every night you become another version of yourself, constructed, lived, and erased before morning. And maybe that's why waking up sometimes feels like grief, because you've just lost an entire lifetime, one you can't quite remember. It makes you wonder, if you can live 1,000 lives in your sleep and believe every one of them is real, how different is this one? Maybe you're still dreaming, just a deeper layer. And maybe death is just waking up again. Have you ever felt déjà vu? That eerie sense that this moment has already happened? Could be your mind glitching between versions of reality. Or maybe it's your consciousness remembering something from another dream, another version of you. Throughout history, humans have spoken of this, the journey beyond the body. The Egyptians wrote about the Ka, the vital spirit that left the sleeping body each night. The Hindus called it Atman, the self that never sleeps. The Greeks called it Psyche, the soul with wings. And in modern labs, people under anesthesia or near death have described something eerily similar. Floating above themselves, watching doctors work, hearing voices from rooms away. Their brains were clinically off, yet their awareness perfectly clear. Is it coincidence that the same happens, in smaller ways, every night when you dream? Maybe consciousness isn't bound to the physical world at all, just temporarily focused here, like a spotlight. When you sleep, the spotlight dims, and your awareness expands back into the field it came from. And when you wake, it narrows again into a name, a story, a life. So perhaps the mystery of sleep isn't about rest at all. It's about remembering. Remembering that you are more than your body, more than thought, more than time. You feel the slow pull, a magnetic thread drawing you back through the fog of dreams, back into the heavy warmth of a body you had almost forgotten was yours. It's the same every morning. You don't notice it, but it happens. You return. Your breathing deepens. The world sharpens. And somewhere inside that gentle confusion between sleeping and waking, you hesitate. For half a heartbeat, you're both the dreamer and the dream. You blink, and the room around you appears, as if painted in from nothing. A ceiling, a sound, the faint smell of morning. And just like that, the infinite collapses into a single, fragile moment of life. That's what waking up really is, the reassembly of your personal universe. But here's the part you never think about. Who exactly is doing the assembling? Every thought you have happens to you. You don't choose it. You witness it. You don't make the next image appear behind your eyes. It just comes. In neuroscience, there's a gap, tiny but measurable, between perception and awareness. Light hits your eyes, signals move through neurons, and a fraction of a second later, you become aware of the image. That means the you who's watching life unfold is always slightly behind reality, always observing, never creating. So who's the observer? Is it the mind that dreams? Or the consciousness that keeps watch when even the mind goes quiet? When you drift into sleep, your brain stops recording. When you awaken, it starts again. But the watcher never leaves. It's the same awareness that saw your first childhood memory and the same one hearing these words right now. Everything else changes, but that doesn't. And if that awareness isn't bound to the body's waking circuits, then perhaps it doesn't die with them either. Perhaps consciousness doesn't leave the body at night. Perhaps the body leaves it. Let's return to the science for a moment. EEG recordings show something curious in the moments between wakefulness and sleep. A burst of alpha and theta waves, oscillating in harmony, like overlapping ripples on a pond, is called a hypnagogic state. Artists, thinkers, and mystics have chased it for centuries. Because in those seconds, the walls between worlds seem thinner. Salvador Dali used to nap sitting up, holding a metal key above a plate. As soon as he began to dream, the key fell, the plate clanged, and he'd wake, catching a glimpse of the images before they vanished. He said those flashes were the bridge between the waking and the infinite. Modern scanners see it too. Right as you drift off, the brain's sensory gates relax, and spontaneous imagery begins to form. Half memory, half creation. It's your consciousness loosening its grip, stepping briefly into that larger field it came from. So when people say they've left their bodies, maybe they haven't gone anywhere. Maybe they've simply opened their perception wide enough to see what's always been there. Everything returns here to the fragile, beautiful human part. Think of the times you've fallen asleep beside someone you love. How your breathing finds the same rhythm. How their warmth seems to blend with yours. Two bodies, but one quiet pulse of awareness between them. Science calls it entrainment, your brainwaves literally syncing in frequency. But maybe it's more. Maybe consciousness is communal, a single ocean that each of us enters from different shores. And when we sleep, when the noise of daily identity fades, we sink back into that shared current, the place where individuality dissolves into something wider. That's why you sometimes dream of people you've lost. They're not visiting you. You're meeting them in the place where separation doesn't exist. In the language of physics, energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. In the language of experience, love works the same way. You spend half your life asleep. That's roughly 26 years for an average human. 26 years spent in worlds you can barely remember. If those years were meaningless, why would evolution keep them? Why build a universe that needs to shut down consciousness to survive? Unless consciousness itself needed that silence to remember who it really is. Maybe sleep is not rest, but return. Maybe every night you dissolve into the origin of all things, and every morning you re-emerge to play the role you chose. You call that life, but to whatever watches from beyond thought, it's just another dream. And the strangest part? You can feel it when you stare at the sky for too long. When music hits you in a way you can't explain. When you wake at 3 a.m. and everything is still. That fleeting awareness that you're both inside and outside yourself. That's the same consciousness that leaves the body every night. It never travels far. It simply widens until everything fits inside it. Now imagine tomorrow morning. You open your eyes. Sunlight spills across your face. For a second, you forget your name, the day, the world. There's only the warmth, the breath, the quiet miracle of being. That's the moment between worlds. Don't rush it, because that's where the truth hides, not in dreams or data, but in the gentle pulse that says, I am. Maybe you'll never prove where consciousness goes at night. Maybe science will find equations, or maybe it never can. But deep down, you already know. You feel it every time you let go. You've felt it 1,000 nights before, and you'll feel it again the next time you drift away and the universe breathes you back in. So, does your consciousness leave your body every night? Maybe not in the way we imagine. Not as a ghost or a traveler, but as light returning to its source. You fall asleep, the world disappears, and yet somehow you remain. A silent witness to the dream of existence. Tell me your city and time in the comments. Maybe right now, from different corners of the world, we're both awake inside the same dream.